Welcome guys, what's up? Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing this beautiful sunny day? How is everyone? Welcome. You guys had a good week. You guys are having a good month. It's going to be already today's already 19. Hey Jack. Happy Sunday, man. I started doing some sunbathing already. Taking as much vitamin D as possible. That's kind of a privilege in the UK, so just need to take advantage as much as possible. It's priority. Yeah. Aside from that, City just won the week. It happened a few minutes ago. 4 in a row. Fantastic. And Co-op saying goodbye to Liverpool, which is are you happy about it? Like what's your feeling? Since you support Liverpool, what's your take on Co-op? Yeah, basically football it's almost over. Football is another thing that another passion of mine aside from trading. Yeah, next thing is just Euros in the summer. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's been great. 9 years, right? 9 years is a lot of time. All right, so for anyone that is watching this for the first time, so basically today we're going to do on Sundays, every Sunday we go live. We do a live stream to look at the market. So basically we do a weekly market analysis. We look at different assets. We look at crypto, in this case, at indices as well. We look at the FX, and usually we actually start with the dollar index. That's the asset that we start with because of the correlation that the dollar index has with all the other assets. Yeah, so again, feel free to subscribe to the channel, feel free to ask any questions. Mostly we're going to look at bias, mostly in the higher time frame, try to see what to expect, bullish dollar, bearish dollar, what to expect from the indices. That it was another week breaking new all-time high, so basically it would resume for new all-time highs after the high that was created back in April. That was after the CPI, again, as expected at this point. A little bit of a positive CPI that would skyrocket the market, and there you go, new all-time highs on the indices, and we are back into that approach of looking how to trade the all-time highs. Like, so for anyone that is by any chance looking for reversals, just be cautious, wait for weakness, wait for confirmation, wait for price actually to collect liquidity before looking for a bigger turn. Otherwise, selling double tops and so on can be tricky. There's always a risk for price to create new highs instead of just respecting every double top that you see being created in the air. Like, again, that's how to look at it. We did actually during the live stream, we covered that 1.5 months ago, like before the last highs were created. We're already looking at that. So if you want, you can review that one to see kind of how to approach trading at the all-time highs for anyone that is even a counter trend trader looking for sales in there, which is also useful for anyone that is looking for continuation setups, because if you start realizing what the counter trend traders usually start to look at when looking for reversals, maybe that will be a moment as well that you should be a bit more cautious with any momentum setups. But before those that weakness starts to appear, then feel free to continue to rally the trend in here. Right, crypto, it was a positive week as well, regarding from the lows. So that was something that we were looking for as well, Ethereum in particular. maybe those are the lows for now. We're going to challenge the highs from here. We'll see. And the N pairs as well continue to move. Individual N pairs to the upside. We'll see now what's going to happen next week. And yeah, let's take a look into it, right? So again, last week was CPI better than expected. Not mistaken, normal CPI 3.4, core CPI 3.6, and then we had the move to the upside in the indices. Aside from that, it was a quiet week, and it's going to be the same this week. Not really much, aside from maybe the services PMI on Thursday. It's actually some bank holidays tomorrow in the Eurozone and in Canada, so maybe a little bit less volatility or liquidity in the market. Aside from that, not really much. New Zealand interest rate, and yeah, not really. It's going to be a quiet week in terms of big news for the US, except Thursday, where you have the manufacturing services PMI. These news nowadays, they are important to see the status of the economy, because again, there is this pressure for the central bankers to decide when to start cutting the rates, which high probabilities to start happening already in June in the Eurozone, for example. In the US, because of the most recent CPI data, now the data that you're looking for is going to be in September. Okay, that's when the market is pricing in the first rate cut, and actually 2 rate cuts until the end of the year in here. All right, so that's just a brief what happened in the market. All right, this is what we were looking for. Like if you recall from last week, we had these lows, right, that were created with the NFP in the beginning of May, and as we mentioned it, these lows were never really that relevant, at least in my opinion. At least that's what we were covering during the stream and with the guys in the server as well. Right, so we're still bearish on the dollar after also price has respected this double top. Okay, so understanding where price is coming from, it helps as well to understand if you should be expecting price to continue in this direction, or should you start expecting a reversal from here. And then you had that reaction, perfect. Then you start having this range. This is basically what happened this week. And with the CPI, then you have that. Actually, this was with the PPI. PPI was actually a good catalyst that created this fake out in here. And since then, price moved to the downside, and it just resumed to move in this case that we were already expecting in here. Okay, the reaction, it was not bad actually if we count this level, but this is the real level that that was still holding price. That was the supply, it was in there. And this is actually a good example of the webinar that we did this week with the guys, which is about liquidity, not just about when to expect it, no, not just about where to expect it, but when to expect it, right? So that's an important point as well. And something that we mentioned during that session is that the when usually tends to happen just before price is ready to resume the move. Okay, that's one of the best moments that you have that last push. Okay, is when price is finally ready. After spending a little bit of a range in this level, we kind of need to have that trigger, and after that trigger is done, then price is going to start moving in here. Sometimes yes, it does retest, something like that, but that's a situation that you're going to realize many times when you have those ranges somewhere in here, then all of a sudden we have that last one just before price is finally ready to move in here, right? And it doesn't really is not really going to spend much more time around this level. Basically, that's the moment to look for it. Okay, so being aware of that then can lead into other type of opportunities. For example, the breakout setups finally can actually happen after price starts breaking these lows in here. You can definitely look for more examples in the past, and you're going to realize that as well, right? So it's not just about where are you expecting the liquidity to happen, but also when to do so. Okay, that's also important, and news events are always a good timing to do that as well. So okay, so what happened? Like in this case, we feel the spice. Like we literally went all the way and we reacted down from this demand zone that was in here. And the reaction was perfect from this level. Actually, during the CPI, there was a little bit of manipulation in here because price actually went down. Okay, it went all the way up again. Pick out this small level and it went down, creating kind of this quasi modeling here with this left shoulder. Again, price still respecting this supply in there. And usually when you have this type of moves in here, that's usually a good level to look for a reaction from in the future around that level in here. But yes, price basically closed the gap that was in here. And in the bigger picture, in reality, if you look at it, this is a valid demand zone, like on the daily time frame, I believe even on the weekly time frame. This is kind of a valid demand zone in here. And if by any chance price is interested in starts to go up again, I think this could be a reasonable level to look for. Okay, basically reacted from this level on the weekly time frame as well. That level was still fresh all the way to the demand zone in here. Okay, so if by any chance the dollar index wants to do this, this will be one of those levels to maybe to happen. If you start breaking below this low, then you can start looking to here, and from here you can even start looking even further down as well, because these lows already kind of got into this compression. All of a sudden maybe start targeting all the way until there, unless there's maybe some reaction from here. But on the higher time frame, this level where price is reacting right now, it does look nice, and the reaction was quite good, to be honest. So yes, I am curious to see what's going to happen around this level. Now, price respected perfectly the supply level, so that level is already gone. Price reacted from it. It can still bounce from it again. Okay, price can easily still go up all the way back into the supply and work, and price can push down. Now, one situation about this low is that usually price doesn't really just reverse with a single low. Okay, this looked like a bit aggressive in my opinion. Didn't really spend much time in here, and usually price will pause a little bit more before kind of making or kind of creating a second low in here before pushing like that. Price was just compressing, kind of there was this moving here around. It was actually during the Asian session. And yeah, expecting maybe second low in here, at least some fake out of this level, could be a bit more reasonable if price is actually about to do something like this. Otherwise, if just one low, this may just be again that continuation that we are seeing in here. Okay, so basically price moving, a new low created, and maybe just something like that to happen in here. So yes, if I would be interested in looking for moves in here, yes, I think there's still maybe a level in there, but I would prefer to see some kind of liquidity being created around this level in here. Okay, maybe price starting to break above some kind of range that's going to be created in here, and then maybe fake out some kind of lows that are going to be created somewhere in there. That will be a bit more of a reasonable PI to eventually look for price to go higher. But in my opinion as well, this level hold quite nicely. So yes, we are going to be within this range at this point in here. And if price does break to the upside, then can go slightly higher. If price starts just respecting this level, then in my opinion price can go and it can go much lower in here. This level was okay. Price basically respected quite nicely, kind of creating that reversal pattern in here. Create a range. We have that quick fake out, and then price moving lower, where somewhere in here can still be reasonable, either in here or at the extreme. Basically price already reacted in here, and then price reacted from there. So this may have been already touched. Yeah, let's see. We can maybe change time frame to yeah, who knows? Yeah, maybe it's still there. At least on 1 hour as well, it's still fresh in there. Yeah, touch that one. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's anything in here that is reasonable. Yeah, what's your bias on the dollar? Anyone has any bias? To expect more to downside, upside? What you are looking for? Yeah, this level is okay, but price can definitely fake out this level, even though this one already kind of reacted from. Yeah, price is compressing, and this is the last supply level in there. in here. That basically weak in there. That's basically the last one. Price compressing down, compressing down, compressing down, creates a supply, starts moving lower. This size never touch it, and this one went there and touch it. Even has this basically key M in here as well, right? So basically you have this move in here, and then price just pushes down in there. So yeah, maybe somewhere in here is still fresh. This high never really touch it, so that's maybe one of the levels that are still fresh in here on the dollar index. If by any chance price does want to go there, and yeah, react from here. That would be a reasonable place to look for in here. So we will see. We'll see what's going to happen in there. Yes. Meanwhile, we did manage to break below this level. So for now, that's what we're going to be looking for. Then, if you do manage to break below this low, we can break below this low and still react from something in here, okay? Without, as long as we kind of don't break that level, we can maybe still go like that. If it's actually then break below this low in here, then I think price is ready to go slightly lower in here. Now, there's anything in here that can use these lows of liquidity, or all of a sudden the price is already going out the way. This level looks nice in here. Maybe now I'm into that one. Freaking out these lows maybe looks nice. All of a sudden it can even look even lower. But yeah, for now, something in here. If price by any chance, again, as I mentioned, this week starts turning to the upside and going like this, at this point, I'm not going to be much bearish in here. Even though there's a little bit of a space between this high and that level, I'll be looking more for price actually to eventually fake out this double top in there. So not really sure if I'm going to be looking for anything in here, unless I have proper PA to look for. Even if price kind of breaks this level, opening space to go down, then goes all the way until here. Yeah, maybe with good PA, okay. Otherwise, I may actually wait for that to happen in here. So yeah, that's basically the dollar index in here. Which if it continues to go down, then maybe the indices may go higher. We'll see. Euro index is challenging the highs. Okay, basically, in my opinion, there were kind of a few lows being broken on the way down, but we also mentioned that the extreme of this level is still somewhere kind of closer to the highs. Okay, these highs were not, these previous highs in here were not that close to that level, so eventually we could continue to move higher, and we can even eventually fake out this high in here. Okay, so that's just looking left. We have a double top being created in here on the euro index, and price can still fake out and go into this structure in there. Okay, so price can literally still fake out this level and eventually react from there, and maybe from here can finally turn or getting a bit closer to this level in here on the euro index. Basically fake out this fake out basically this double top in there. So that's a bigger picture view in here. Even on the higher time frame in here, as you can see, price went up. It respected perfectly the extreme in here, this demand zone. So the expectation eventually can be actually to take the highs, since these lows never really broke anything. Okay, if this had happened, that will be a different story. Maybe there was engulfed downside and expecting this one to turn maybe from here. Since that didn't really happen, then we can have this fake out of the highs, breaking new highs in here, because price respected perfectly that level, and then you can go to the downside in here. So that will be bigger picture, and that's why it's so important to do a higher time frame analysis, like understanding where is price coming from. Okay, where is this low actually reacting from now that we're approaching the highs? Like basically, if we had this range in here, basically price already filled this range. Okay, it would be a different story if price had just came here, now test is high and drop. That would be a different story. No, price already made all the move to the downside in here. So yes, with proper PA, you may need to look at this. That's rough. Alright, man. I'm good. Enjoying the weather, to be honest. It's nice to see some sun in here. So it always kind of, it's uplifting in terms of the mood. Even though I don't mind winter, to be honest. But this weather is nice in here. at this point, because I don't really like that too hot neither. Like unless I'm on holidays, that's okay, but if it is to work, no, I don't like 30, 31, 32, 30. I don't like those kind of otherwise it becomes too hot and it's hard to be productive. Yeah, exactly. Because to summer, if it's too hot, you cannot really control it, or you have to put a lot of fans around you. Yeah, too cold, you can always either wear more clothes or increase the temperature. Yeah, is what it is. Yeah, unless I'm on holidays, and if that's the case, yeah, just give me good weather. Yeah, so yeah, that's Euro Index. Again, on the approach at this point, the price continued to respect this demand zone after breaking to the upside. And as you can see in here, like if you actually analyze it, there isn't that many things or levels. There aren't that many levels fresh around this level. Okay, so this supply is basically taken by that one. This is basically a little bit where price is bouncing from. We have already all this compression all the way down, and you have a double top. Okay. So unless there's something in here on a different time frame, otherwise there isn't that many things in here. Yeah, unless there is that on that line, otherwise price may just go higher. Yep, that's true, Jack. That's true. These houses, like even though this one where I'm living now, it's not bad, to be honest. It's not bad. The previous one, where I was living, it was in an apartment. I mean, there was some weeks where it was like 31 degrees. You couldn't breathe, man. You couldn't breathe. And then I have cats, so I couldn't really just open the windows. Otherwise, you'll maybe just jump outside. So it had always to be controlled. It's just too much. Too much. It keeps out the heat inside, basically. But this one is nice, to be honest. No complaints so far on that aspect. Yeah, Euro Index. If you start breaking these lows, that may change the approach in here, and maybe there's a little bit of an opportunity. But I would actually, in the bigger picture, I would actually be surprised if you don't end up taking the highs. First and foremost, let's wait to take this high, and then maybe we can have a move, right? So we may have first price going somewhere in here, maybe takes that level, may have another reaction towards this level. Again, if you start taking this level in here, then yes, then maybe something like that. But I'll be surprised if you don't really take that double top in here, and even that high more on the left to go into more to that level. So again, just something to pay attention in here. And as we get closer to that potential interest rate decision on the Eurozone, which can lead into the first rate cut, then you may have a shift in here on the Euro, which is going to be next month in June. The yen pairs, well, they are back, right? So this was the move. This was the move that I missed. It was the move that I was more looking for this week, and I ended up missing it. Kind of price reversed kind of too early around the Asian session, almost jumping into the London, but it was like 6 AM in the morning, not really active at 6 AM. Yeah, so we fake out these lows, or we can kind of broke these lows, which can lead actually to a more downside in here. And after that, we had that big reaction. And unfortunately, there was not really a retracement before price just went to the moon. In here, that was kind of what I was looking for, potentially a break in here, maybe retest and then go. That didn't happen. Price, it just went all the way ballistically, and this happened across all the yen pairs in here. And there you go. I initially reacted from a good first target, was a little bit of this range, but then eventually went all the way to retest the other one. Like, so there was no retest. The retest is happening right now, which to be honest, I'm expecting new lows being created. Again, this is the range. Again, even if you're looking for a little bit of a long in here, you could, but your target is this, nothing else. This is the supply that is next to it. If you start breaking this level, that's a different story. Open space to go there, and then maybe from here we could go, right? But as long as this level holds, that's not exactly anything else that you can look for it in here. Okay, nice range, nice fake out. Again, that last fake out that happened before price moving down, just as I described when to expect fake out to happen. There you go, just happened, and then price now resume the move down, and I'll be surprised if you don't really take these lows in here and maybe just resume this move to downside, and then we can get a little bit closer to this level. Now, if we analyze then individually each yen pair, they are reacting from different levels. Some of them, maybe they are still reacting from here. Some others already broke this level. They are getting closer maybe to this demand zone. So they are all reacting a little bit from the different zones in here, which is something that you can, again, pay attention to. Yes, we'll see. Okay, again, turning bullish in here. If you do manage to break above this high, then we can go all the way. You can even retest one more time this level. Okay, you can definitely retest one more time this level and continue to push a bit more to the downside. That could actually be a good maybe trend continuation setup, breaking the lows, retest this level, and then kind of just resume the move to the downside. That could be a bit more reasonable until eventually we start slowing down a little bit, and then maybe we turn. Okay, so we'll see. Expecting a bit more of a zone 3 type of a move, which is a bit more of a compression, but a compression different from this one. This compression was price basically didn't really move. It was just straight line to the downside. I'm expecting a bit more something like this. Okay, maybe not so aggressive like this move, but a bit more of a little bit of a move like that before maybe price turns in here. So we'll see what's going to happen in here on the yen index, but it's an interesting one to continue to follow. Yeah. You had me more of a dog person. Yeah, maybe in Portugal I had, but here we end up getting a cat, and to be honest, like, cats are more independent. It helps as well, that they can stay home a little bit by themselves. We have all the systems implemented, like they have automatic food, they have everything. Just really need to feed them once a day, and they get their food splitted several times per day. We have two, to be honest, at this point. But yeah, man, I didn't really know that I like so much cats until I got Cookie, the first one. So yeah, it's just amazing. They are amazing. Yeah, they are amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's Cooking and Muffin. Yeah, we have Cookie already for, it's going to be 4 years already? I think it's going to be 4 years now. In October, we got him in October. Yeah, maybe 4 years in October. Muffin, we have him 1 year ago. Complete different personalities. It's just amazing. Yeah. All right. So moving along for the indices. All right. So again, all-time highs in here. And yeah, so that's what we have. Like, so again, the full breakout, there was a few lows in here being broken, but price basically just retested the upper edge of these levels, and then eventually we end up with the move again. Another fake out that happened just before price goes to the upside. A normal move as soon as we break the highs. And that's always one of the first opportunities to look for a sell. If you are a counter trend trader, one of the first opportunities that you can look for a sell is just the retest of this previous all-time high. Okay, as long as all-time high was still fresh, you can always aim for this trade. As soon as that trade is gone, that would be kind of the most reasonable first target. Then you can forget about it. Now you actually need to wait for proper weakness from here. One of the second targets that you can look for, one is the retest of the all-time high. The second one is retest of the demand zone that actually managed to break the highs in here. Again, it's just usually the most common places that price tends to react from. Previous level of support resistance and also previous level of demand that created the break to the upside. So that's where S&P reacted from. So by any chance, if you're planning to take any shorts, that happened. Okay, we had kind of this PA around here, we start breaking slightly lows, and then you had fake out and price just moved to the downside, basically retested that previous level, and from here now price can most likely create new highs. Okay, so that's already gone as a first level. Okay, so breaking this level, basically price opened the door to go, or open the space in here to go further down. We had fake out, and since then price basically just moved down for the last 1 or 2 days. But this was just, yeah, Thursday, Friday, turning on Friday, a strong closing in here on Friday, going to the upside. In there, basically retested this demand zone in here. As you can see, this will never touch the demand zone in alignment to the break of the with the retest of the previous high, and not a level to look for. As a continuation in here, maybe now price can maybe retest this level somewhere in here to eventually continue to push to the upside. In here, this level basically is already reacted from. This was a nice KM in here. I don't know if this was, what was this? Was CPI? No, don't really know what happened at this closing. Yeah, this was a nice KM zone in alignment with these lows in there. Basically, the lower edge already reacted from it, the upper edge reacted from it, and the supply reacted from it. So it's almost all of it compressed. There's maybe this last zone in there, but yeah, not really expecting maybe much from it. So we'll see how price goes. But usually the 3 levels that most we are looking for. First one is extreme in here, then it's in alignment to this level, which basically price kind of reacted a bit from there, then in alignment with this level after this one is broken, which is in there. That's it, gone. 3 levels in there. So that's S&P. Again, expectations maybe for new highs, and again eventually compression until we show some more weakness and go. But that's one of the main things. Okay, anytime you have a break of a high, in this case all-time highs, don't look for it immediately, wait for the PA, and that can be always one of your targets to aim for. Just the same way that many people are waiting for price to retest to this level to start looking for longs as well. Okay, so basically the seller and the buyer can meet each other at this level in here, and yeah, it's kind of some attraction to push price towards that level in here. And then we have NASDAQ, basically same situation in here. Nas actually kind of forgot a bit of that level in there. I still like that supply. None of these highs actually reacted from it. It already went a little bit below the supply. Like you can see the difference. It's amazing how you can see price. So we have the high in here on NASDAQ, which in theory it's in alignment to this level, which in theory that's where price should have reacted from. Like in theory, let's put a should in here. What's the difference between NASDAQ that actually went below that level and S&P that actually basically respected the line in there? Okay, so what's the main difference? Basically this on the lower time frame. Like you can see that in this case you have a demand zone and you have this low that didn't touch it. So it's fresh. Okay, the level is still fresh in here. No need to break, no need to go below that. It's fresh. Demand zone in there. On the S&P, sorry, on NASDAQ, as you'll see, the zone is no longer fresh. Okay, price spiked in there already. Which you have these 2 weeks in here, price created this level, it spiked the demand zone in there, and it basically removed the level from here. It's no longer fresh in here. Therefore, where are we going to go next? We are going to go actually then to the next structure, somewhere more around here, and that's basically where we're going to start looking for price eventually to go to, and you still have this demand zone with the CPI in there. Okay, so again, that's basically where eventually price end up going to, reacting from the upper edge of that level. This level is already touched, so you can actually look for a target slightly below that level. That's it. It's just following price. What price does in here, it matters then for where price eventually is going to react to in the future. In there again, in alignment in here as well, kind of basically the same lower edge in here, price kind of bouncing in between that level and eventually dropping. I was still looking for price maybe to retest that demand zone, sorry, that supply. It looked nice, so So we'll see. With good PA, maybe a little bit again, but it's all-time high, so it's always a risk once again that price wants to create new highs before start turning again in here. So that's basically what we have at this point on NQ. Dow took a little bit longer to break the highs. It also managed to do so. We took a little bit longer. It only did it on Friday, and yeah, basically now retesting a little bit more. So we'll see also what's going to happen. Again, expectation is to continue to go there. DAX again, same situation. Even though we kind of had this one, this was some kind of news in here with the PPI, I believe, and then price push higher. But again, the retest towards this level, right? That's basically what we were looking for as a first attempt to look for a sell. Is basically the retest of this high. So it happened as well. It went higher, and yeah, this is a good PA. Again, we continue to look for that weakness. We start to see the compression, nice fake out in here, and it start turning, and that's kind of 6 AM in the morning, a bit too early. And then price just moved down, didn't really retest that much, just straight moved to the downside. We start breaking these highs, starting to show a little bit intentions to start reversing, one more low and move higher. Again, I was looking for price to get a bit more closer to here, but yeah, at this point didn't really went there. So that's what we have in here on the DAX. Again, it's going to be another one to pay attention. You can also look at the 10 years. It's kind of a good correlation with the dollar index. In this case as well. So maybe if we continue to see more downside in here, maybe the dollar index can also continue to go in there. And before even go now into the individual currency pairs, we can look already at crypto in here. So yeah, crypto total market, basically got a little bit of this target in here. Now we already broke the highs in there, so we can go a little bit higher, but this is a good target at this point from this level. And yeah, that high, again, we were biased to the upside. We mentioned that this high didn't really reacted from the supply. It did at this point in here. So let's see if this holds and price pushes down, or by any chance price kind of still respects something in here and it challenges to the upside from here. Again, the reaction here, it was quite good at this point. If you break above this level, because this is already kind of one first break, this will be the second one, then you're looking for price to get a little bit more to the upside, if not even challenging a bit more this the highs in there. BTC, kind of more of the same, kind of continue to go slightly higher. Again, we mentioned that part, like when you have this fake out, this key level in here, as soon as we manage to break above this level, whatever demand zone is left at around that level, that will be key to see if price would hold that level, could go higher. If price then kind of breaks this level in here, then we open the door to go much farther down. In this case, price just continued to go. Again, it was another high in there that managed to break above it, kind of working as an engulf to the upside in here, where price didn't really react from that level. And there you go, the rest is just price moving upwards. Personally, I was still looking for price to go a bit more to the downside, maybe still even fake out these lows. It never happened. Price just respected this demand zone, and meanwhile it's just moving to the upside in here. Yep, kind of still testing in here. We already broke that level. I think this one is able to continue to push higher, and we'll see what's going to happen from this level, or if we're going to eventually now take the highs. I think it could go. Okay, I think from here, when price is turning in here, we could actually challenge the highs one more time, and maybe even break finally above again these levels in here, create new all-time highs in here. Ethereum, it was another one that you're looking for price to retest these lows after the fake out. In here again, we kind of have already one of those breaks to the upside in there. The PA in here was quite good on Ethereum. Again, we're looking for potential to retrace a bit more deep into this level. Didn't really happen, but you fake out that one low in there, so that was maybe enough, and price just reacted from the upper edge in here. So all good in that level. And yes, the meanwhile broke trend line, price retested and push higher. So yes, we'll see. This is my opinion, maybe a bit more of the target. Price didn't really got there. Yep, we'll see what's going to happen on Ethereum in here. If this is now ready to go from this level one more time or not. So yeah. Check, are you still looking at looks bullish to you, yeah? Crypto. Yeah, to me too. And Savannah as well, that retested those lows, moved to the upside, that fake out, retest, and push higher as well. And I think it can continue to challenge a little bit more the highs in here. I think it could go a bit more to the upside around this level in here. Did never really retested this low, so eventually could go there. But so far, kind of maybe retesting something in here would be kind of the zone that you are looking for, maybe to continue to push price to the upside in there, right? So again, this is a nice structure. Price to kind of breaks a little bit of the highs, open space to go higher, fake out this level. It's basically what you mentioned. There's a stream when this happened that you made. Basically all the predictions that you made on that day. They kind of played out. How to expect price eventually to turn from here, either on Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, kind of worked out quite nicely. It took time. It took a few weeks, but eventually, kind of price played out quite nicely in here. Yeah, that's basically it for crypto. That's basically it. Gold, yeah, I'll take a look at gold and oil as well in a bit. Gold may take new highs in here, but first let's take a look at euro. Again, euro, it was the same story. This high was never really the final destination, and eventually to take out these highs as well would be quite reasonable after we had that move to the upside in here. Now with the PPI, kind of we had that reaction. Okay, price reacted from there, fair enough, and continued to go higher. Now, one of the main differences has been like the levels on dollar index has been a bit more clear than on the euro, to be honest. For example, this high for me doesn't really mean that much yet on the euro. Okay, is this level in here? There's a zone in there, and price basically reacting from it. I had another level a little bit above, but price eventually can even go a bit more to the upside, while on dollar index is reacting from that nice demand zone, right? So on dollar index at least it's a bit more protected in there. This high for me doesn't really mean much on the euro dollar. Now price came back again one more time to react from this supply level. And yes, let's see what price is going to do. A lot of compression in here, so it's basically something that we have as well in there. Yeah, again, I'm still a bit bullish, to be honest, on the euro dollar. I think price could continue to go higher. May have a little bit of reaction from here, but to be honest, I think eventually could go more to the upside. It could follow the euro index as well, which could take a little bit more the highs. Again, it could retest one more time this demand zone if price wants to. That could be okay. If by any chance we start breaking below that level, then we can start maybe navigating more towards here. Unless there's maybe something in there that price missed out around this level. Which is basically the level where you cannot flip from trying to go short to actually go long in here. So somewhere in there is kind of a decision point to do this shift. So that can always be a reasonable level to pay attention to. Otherwise, we may go there. But yeah, I think it could go slightly higher in here until we get a bit maybe more closer towards this zone in here on the euro dollar. In there, so we'll see what's going to happen in there on the euro dollar. Pound, Pound initially kind of reacted from this double top, which in my opinion it's not exactly also the final destination. A pound that respected that level in there. Again, we had already broken this high, so we were kind of bullish at this point in here. Again, this low is not kind of bad, and at this point kind of we went back into this structure in here, and are looking maybe for price to get a bit more closer to the extreme. Now we fake out this double top. Yeah, but price can within this level. Not sure if there's anything relevant in there above the double top. Maybe there is somewhere in here. Again, we have this demand zone that basically price didn't really reacted that much from the level. Reality already reacted from here. This level in here, maybe they already spiked in there. So price maybe actually can take these lows, maybe have some reaction from this level, and all of a sudden we can continue to move slightly higher until the next zone in there. There's maybe Quasimodo in there, to be honest. Yeah, and this is just an exercise that everyone can do. Just go check the kind of whatever high is in place and try to see if there are any orders in here. Otherwise, maybe we can start looking for the next one. And in reality, you should start the exercise from here and moving all the way down and see what kind of fresh levels are still around this level in here. For example, this one, it may looks nice. Maybe this highs in here didn't really react from the level, so you can definitely fake out this level, react from here. We actually have these left shoulders in there. We have maybe some good level in there as well. So maybe in here is a reasonable level on the pound to go look for in there. So that could be a really good level eventually, or we can even fake out this double top and all of a sudden we are somewhere in there. Not sure if this question will make sense, but do you treat levels that are inside the range differently from levels that are inside the trend? I think I will need an example to be able to understand the question. So range is what? If you have kind of price bouncing in between here, so maybe that's one level in there, maybe it's another zone in here, kind of maybe you have a new one in there, maybe another one in here. I'm kind of just looking at the extremes at this point. Then maybe go high, go up again. Maybe now we have another one in here. Maybe now we have maybe something in there. Then you have the other one in there. Kind of something like that. That will mean the range. And then trending is what? Price trending. I'm trying to look maybe for, I don't know, something in here. Maybe something at the extreme. Maybe something in kind of in there. Can I use this one? Is that what you mean? Let me know if that's kind of what your question is. Yeah, so it will be for me, maybe these levels can be weaker. Maybe that's not the question. Like again, I want to see which level is left behind as fresh, either in here or either in there. Right? And now when you are in the range, maybe I would be straight away more focused on the extremes of the level. So anything in the middle, okay, any kind of level in the middle that is created, okay, that can always be tricky if I know that the extremes are still fresh. Okay, if I know that maybe this demand zone is still fresh and that supply level is still fresh, I'll be always concerned in trying to trade this supply level, for example. Because in my opinion, kind of for me, I know that there is a high probability that my price can just spike up until there and just ignore the supply. Okay, unless there's maybe another kind of liquidity being created in here, and then maybe you can trade there, or wait for price actually to touch that, and then maybe you can maybe look for a lower time frame kind of confirmation to try to trade it in here. But I will always be concerned if these levels are still fresh in here. If this level already been touched in there, right? For example, this high already reacted from here, and then maybe there's a high in here, and now we have maybe a left shoulder and kind of a Quasimodo being created in here. Let me just try to zoom in here a little bit. It's just lost. I don't know how to bring this one back. Okay, needs to be like this. Yeah, I cannot really do this. Yeah, that level. Okay, now I can trade maybe the supply from here, right? As long as this level is already kind of reacted from in here. So that's a little bit in terms of ranges. For me, I'll be always concerned, especially if this low already reacted from here. Okay, imagine that this is the range that we have, and price already made out the way to move to downside. Price already reacted from here, and now is in this bullish trajectory, which can always retest a little bit of a few supply levels, but the tendency to be maybe to retest the highs. If price was just like this and now just created a high, but the target is somewhere in here, and it still has a lot of space to fill, and if you start noticing maybe some kind of levels in there, for example, price doesn't really react from that, but now kind of creates maybe something in here. Yeah, maybe now I can trade this one. Okay, even though I know that price maybe still wants to fake out this level, but kind of the short trend is being created in here, and price not always going to have that deep retracement in here, like especially if you're already creating kind of second, third wall, whatever it may be, like, and if you already see some kind of fake out being created in there. In this case, yes, you can maybe trade just these more levels in the middle until you get to your target in here. As soon as you touch this target, these levels in here that maybe were left behind, just a little bit of a reaction, and the tendency can always, it's going to be for price to react to that level, especially if the low respected the valid demand zone in here, like whatever level you are looking for, support resistance, whatever it may be. Like, yeah, I hope that makes sense in terms of the ranges. In terms of trends, to be honest with you, I just want them to be touched. I really just want them to be touched, because by being touched, it means that they are weak. And in my opinion, personally, what I'm going to be looking for is eventually for the turn, right? So eventually, I'm going to be looking for the turn of this compression, and to hopefully, if everything is already reacted from, everything starts being compressed, and then price is basically free to fall from here. So it's basically trying to avoid as much as possible to short any kind of double top, avoid that until you actually have the confirmation of the turn, and just let price respect every single demand zone that is being created on the way up in here. And if any value is left behind, then eventually that's going to be your target for the turn in here. Something to pay attention with the trends. Yeah, I'll do that, but that's a really good question. But just another example in here is what you have sometimes with trends is that you need to pay attention to any important level of structure on the left that maybe just broke. Like maybe you had an important high in here, and now price is just trending, and you don't really see anything within the trending here. But if you actually then look, maybe have this structure here that can be relevant, and that can be the level where price is going to pause and just resume in here, right? So again, looking left to try to see these structures, it's always important as well in here. So yeah, let's just do it all of this now. But that's a good question. Damn it, let's just do it all of this. All right, so pound, again, pound actually kept respecting this this low in here, and then moved to the upside. So this could have been maybe a good continuation. I wasn't really happy with that level, so I completely ignored this. But there was actually maybe good PI in here to look for a trade, especially after the break of this high. So good continuation in there, and we may continue. We may continue a little bit more to the upside above these highs, and yeah, trying to see within this level if you do have anything in here that you can look for a reaction in there. Anything to the downside, yeah, just retesting this level can be reasonable at this point in here. Yeah, so that's basically pound. We'll see euro pound, which is back at this level in here as well. So we'll see as well how it's going to trade. Not really interested in it that much, to be honest. Aussie, yeah, Aussie continues the bullish momentum. Again, Aussie is a good example of what I just mentioned. Aussie is actually kind of a good example because you could have traded kind of these mid ranges in here, and I was actually kind of looking for it as long as price still had this space to fill. Right, we had just broken this low, and now it finally reached the demand zone, and this is the lows. Right, it completely changes the dynamic of price as soon as the price reaches the final target. Right, in here, even though it kind of still tries to make attempts to go higher, it gets rejected straight away, and the sell continues to be printed. Even in here, it tries to go higher quite aggressively. It tries to go higher quite aggressively, but it found some kind of resistance in there, whatever, and it just keeps pushing lower. Okay, because we are looking at this range in here, and basically the target, it wouldn't be just here, it was actually kind of more in here. As soon as it touched this level and it respects it, and you start breaking the highs, it changes the shift, the parameter here. Like it looks like it's it's super bearish. Boom, finds a way to go higher. Again, kind of finds a way to go higher. He finds a way to go higher in here. Right, and up until this point, now we kind of shift. Like now trying to sell from these levels, it's a bit more trickier because the momentum shifting here at this point on the Aussie. So good reaction a little bit from that level. Eventually kind of expecting maybe to, if you break above this level, you have compression, then you can go there. The reaction from the CPI, PPI, it was perfect. It's actually kind of this demand zone. You can recall that we had that level marked, that is what never reacted from it. Great reaction, but price just went to the upside. This was an interesting one with CPI as well, kind of went up. The level in here was still actually fresh. These levels didn't really react from it. Break out that level and went higher again. So yeah, let's see how price may react from here. To be honest, it's still the extreme, or before entering into the extreme, this is still kind of a good level in there. If you do manage to break above that level, that's when we kind of go into the next compression level and expectation to go there. So if by any chance price still wants to respect this level, it can. We kind of managed to break a new low in here as well, even though we kind of just reacted from this structure. So we'll see. In here, it still kind of looks a bit strong, but maybe there's something in there that could react from in here. So just something to pay attention to on the Aussie, but eventually expectation it can still be to look for more to the upside in there, even though we kind of have that structure in there. Yeah, then the other Aussie pairs, basically just price about to take these lows. Okay, kind of respected perfectly that level as well. It's another one that we had. Because with the news, one more time, that last spike before price pushing lower, just kind of what we mentioned before. Pound Aussie, which again, this is a complete mess around this structure. Eventually could still maybe continue to move a bit more to the downside. Again, it's been in this complete range in here. And then you have the yen pairs, right? And this was one of those, again, that was a sell opportunity that we tried to look for on that day. Didn't really manage to, and then price just reached its target, right? Yep, it just reached its target, and by reaching the target in there, then it kind of invalidates the attempt to look for for shorts again on the retest of double top. That's kind of just retested a little bit, but eventually the intention it would be to go higher. And this is one of the one of the yen pairs that is closer to this supply level in there. So we'll see what's going to happen around this level. If price kind of gives an FPI to push price lower or not, that's something to pay attention to in here. So that's Aussie yen. Dollar yen, another one that kind of fake out at level to have this big range. Again, the low is still really good on the dollar yen. So we fake out a little bit into here, kind of reacted a bit from this structure. There's maybe more room to the upside, definitely. Price went all the way down. It respected this demand zone. It could have still gone into that level, so we left this one behind, and we still have also this level in here, maybe to pay attention to on the dollar yen. And we'll see if price has anything else around this level as well to look for. So yeah, and at this point, maybe some good PI, maybe somewhere from that level can be reasonable. So we'll see on the dollar yen what's going to happen in here. All right. Now something that we noticed this week on the yen pairs and euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on, is that they were kind of divergent. Okay, there was a divergence between them. It was a lot of the move that happened here. It was mostly due to the yen pairs. Okay, for example, you had euro yen maybe moving down and euro dollar moving up quite a lot this week. Until now that both of them are now they're kind of a little bit in alignment again, back at the highs. For example, euro dollar and euro yen trading at highs, pound yen trading at highs, dollar and pound dollar trading at highs again. So they may start finding a little bit of alignment again in here, which means that if by any chance now euro dollar wants to go a bit lower, then euro yen may wants to follow that part as well, and it stops being so correlated with the yen pairs. But that's just something to bear in mind. Again, euro yen, that was another one that of moved to the downside and retested. It went all the way. This is one of the demand zones in the middle, basically to separate between this level and this level. So we did manage to take these lows, but respected perfectly this demand zone in there. We still managed to respect this one in here as well. So I would like to see it actually going slightly higher. One of the supply levels that I had was slightly higher in here. So price hasn't really reacted from that level, just a little bit underneath that. And eventually, of course, can also eventually go towards that zone. So let's see how price may open in here. And if you start breaking below this level, maybe then starts opening the door a bit more to the downside in here. But we can definitely create one more fake out maybe before having that move, and we'll see if not going to have a little bit of that compression that I mentioned on the end index that we could have in here. So that's something to bear in mind as well. Again, the yen pairs are going to be quite interesting this week once again. And pound yen just continues to move higher. So we finally kind of managed to break above this level, and we are reacting from this previous level of demand that price basically ignored on the way. Wait, window candlestick in here on the way down. So what do we have? Like we have the move down, up and down. We actually have a little bit more in here. So we'll see from the supply, from this level in here, if price has anything in there to react from. Again, as I mentioned before, the yen pairs are reacting from different levels and different zones at this point. With eventually the target can be always the test of that bigger supply that was the initial big move down in here. So that's something always to bear in mind. Yeah, so we'll see if price does want to go a bit closer more to that zone. This is basically the level also on the euro yen that I'm still looking for in here. We can look also at the levels in here of the previous demand zones that price can react from in there. So yeah, so that's what we have. Again, we had this demand zone also that managed to break this highs. Price never really got close to that level. which can actually be a target eventually when price goes down. That can be a target and maybe can be a level for price to go higher. So somewhere around this structure can be interesting. And yeah, aside from that, is just literally following PI and try to see somewhere in here if there's anything interesting for on the end to react from. And as I mentioned, it can start being a bit in alignment with the pound dollar. Again, the same way with euro yen can be a bit in alignment with the euro yen, euro dollar as well. CAD yen, it's another one that's maybe worth keep paying attention to. As you can see, CAD yen is nowhere near the other ones. Like the other ones are already kind of reacting from that level. CAD yen hasn't even managed to break above this highs, and he still has now the supply level in here. It respected perfectly the demand zone. If it had managed to break below that, maybe the supply level could still work as a short. Again, we actually managed to break slightly below this point here, with the final destination maybe eventually towards that level. So we'll see. It's a little bit different the PI that you can see in here. We can definitely, of course, fake out this highs one time in here before price pushes lower, until eventually maybe gets closer to that level. Going to have CPI in Canada. I think it's on Tuesday, so that's going to be an interesting one as well to pay attention to in here. And that takes us into CAD, which again, similar scenario. We were looking for price to take this low. It finally took. Okay, and comparing with the dollar index basically already reacted from the demand zone. CAD hasn't really gone there, so I could still see eventually CAD to navigate a bit more to the downside, eventually get closer to this level in here. So Rav, that you trade dollar CAD, not sure if you're still there or not. What levels are you looking for on the dollar CAD? But yeah, at this point, CAD at least maybe to test this demand zone, I think could be quite reasonable. If you start going below that, somewhere in here, and all of a sudden you have this full compression to go in here. And this level in here is still holding quite nicely. So that's something to bear in mind in here. Yeah, so we'll see on CAD. That can be interesting. Euro CAD also kind of turning a little bit. Again, good reaction from this level. Potentially can continue. Again, the destination maybe can be a bit closer towards that level. So this may be just a little bit of a mid-range before price resumes the move to the upside. That's kind of expectation in here. And pound CAD that I mentioned so many times that I was looking for price to eventually go higher above these highs. It's finally getting closer to this level as well. So we'll see. In this one in particular, we actually managed to fake out this level or to break this level, showing potential indication that you want to go lower. Is it going to be from this level, or this price wants to go higher, take these highs and maybe turn from there? So that's going to be an interesting one. Again, price respected this level. We need to see weakness at this point. We need to see lows being broken to open space for price to eventually turn. Okay, now from these highs, maybe there's something in there, but we need to start noticing some weakness. We need to see lows being taken at this point. There is already kind of a bit of a structure in there with price respected in here. Price went higher after that. So we'll see. But let's see if we do have PI, or if you do have it, from here can be a massive turnaround. Yeah, so the difference between a break and a fake out, like, yeah, I can do a webinar about that for sure. Just in short, they are the same. Right, a break and a fake out, they are the same. The main difference is what we are going to do in the moment. Right, basically, a fake out equals a break, but for the future. And then the break is a break that, for example, this is a fake out, right? But this fake out is actually a break for the future, or even when you have maybe this a proper high. For example, this one, this is a break to the future, but it is a fake out in the moment. Now, understanding that which direction we are going to go towards, that's a bit of what usually I call at this sequence. Okay, in my opinion, first it happens the engulf, which is the break that you're talking about, and then it happens the fake out. Okay, so just to go into a sequence, if price kind of is moving like that, we have maybe first the break or the engulf, and then you're going to have the fake out. Okay, in there. This shows the direction of where price wants to go next, and this one is just the fake out that then initiates that move. But this maybe just be in a smaller time frame, but in a bigger picture, that can be a complete different dynamic. Okay, where actually price may have just gone from here, whatever. Now we actually have a break into there. Now price may retest this demand zone, and from here it's actually going to follow this level, right? Like that one. So this one is initially a break to the downside, which happens actually to be a fake out of these lows. Then price goes higher. This is a fake out into this kind of yellow zone. Then price goes down, and it's a break on the white, it's an engulf on the white level. It's a fake out on the yellow level, and it goes like so. That's kind of where it gets interesting in terms of dynamic of scales in here. But in short, actually, they are the absolute same thing. It's just the meaning that we have on the moment in here. Yep, it's basically the meaning. Yeah, basically it's creating the liquidity. Yeah, it's context. It's basically context, as you're mentioning. But I can do, and usually again this goes into basically the pattern that I'm always talking about, right? Kind of creating that that rectangle I've shared so many times, that you have something like that, and that's why I always like to see first maybe the break below it, and then you have eventually that fake out, right? In there. So if you don't really have that one first, or again the question mark is in here, right? So we have this level. What happens next? Like that's the question now. That's the question. So you have this one, and you have this one. Which direction price actually is going to move towards now? Right? Is it going to go like this, or is it going to eventually go like this? Right? That's where the doubt maybe comes up in here. Right? And this is maybe just zoom out a little bit, try to understand it. But if you're just looking into the again where actually this low is reacting from. Or is actually this high maybe reacting from as well, right? I call the engulf fake out sequence. Yeah. So yeah, in theory, this is kind of goes like this. Or if by any chance you are looking for that reverse of what price just does something like this and actually breaks to the upside first and only does this level, at this point. This may not be the sequence. Actually, this may actually be the sequence from here. Right? Unless there's maybe already breaking here. This was actually already broke something in there, and you go from there, and actually then maybe there's something there. But yeah, let's just look at it. Right? We have a proper break in here, kind of some structure, and then we have fake out, and then price is ready to go. In there. Yeah. Yeah, didn't go fake out sequence. Yeah, man. Just keep writing the topics, because those are good webinars to do. Yeah, so yeah, that's pound CAD, which is finally at the levels. Again, we did manage to break below this level. This level may have not gotten to or reached the target in here. So we may have this happening, or may have first another break in there, and then eventually move to the downside. So I'm going to be curious. Breaking below this structure definitely opens the door more to the downside, and it can initiate that big move, at least until this level. which is already kind of a massive potential trade in here, faking out these lows, getting into this demand zone in alignment to this left shoulder. That can already be a great trade. Price most likely is going to react from here first before even continue to move lower. So this level alone can be quite interesting as well to look for. So yeah, that's one to pay attention to this week as well. Can be a great opportunity. Then you have dollar franc Swiss. Again, it's a good example. The engulf and then the fake out in here. So it breaks this demand zone, engulfs the level, and then have the fake out, and then eventually follows through to fill the rest of the range in there. So yes, we'll see. We are still around this level. Again, price with this low got really closer, or got closer to this extreme, opposite to the previous lows. So this one got really close. It's not really my favorite, but we'll see what's going to happen. Maybe somewhere in there, or a little bit even higher. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen in here on our franc Swiss. It's maybe another word to pay attention to somewhere in here. Yeah, and then golds. All right. So what you make on golds? All right. So gold is basically about to. Is there anything at the highs? Basically the question, right? Is there anything at the highs? So this is one of the demand zones. I don't really like that level. Don't really be interested in here. Either in there or in here can be reasonable. And we have this small compression. This is basically where the move happened. We have the first low. Price goes. There's a little bit of a decision here, and price just decides to move to the downside from there. So this is one of the previous demand zones that price basically didn't even react from it. It just broke it, kind of retested almost, but didn't really reach the level and just moved down. So, and that's basically where actually this high reacted from. It was already from that previous demand zone in there that price ignored. There's maybe that level in the middle. Yeah, there's maybe something in there. Kind of a decision point in there as well. So yeah, so that's basically gold. Again, as you mentioned, this was a break to the upside. You got a beautiful entry in here, Jack. That was great. Prices then continue to go higher, kind of retested again. That's all of it in here. It just continued to go higher, kind of as we predicted in that moment. And it just continued. Like it just continued to go to the upside. It's all-time highs, man. I don't really like to trade all-time highs in here. Even though we have this high in here that we could kind of fake out and use a bit of liquidity and still maybe protect this one. So this one the liquidity can be taken from this high, but like the turn was good. Kind of this demand zone was good. It was definitely the demand zone that we mentioned, that if price breaks this level, opens the door to go lower. If price keeps respecting this level, I think it can go and retest the highs. It managed to respect it. It kind of spent a lot of time around this level. It managed to take that final liquidity with that spike in there. As you can see, actually went higher first and only the fake out afterwards. Another example. And there you go. From here it went higher. Now we have a lot of compression here. That's true. Maybe somewhere in there if you go below that level. Yeah, we have all the way through to go towards this level once again. If price by any chance wants to do something in there. Which supply, this one or something at the highs? So on futures, did it still respect this level? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so if it still respected this level on futures, the type of PI that I would like to see, it would be to make it look like it's actually holding, and then to just fake out and go with it. Right, so make it look like it's actually good double top. to then maybe just fake out and turn. That would be something that I would like to see. In here it already broke it, right? It's already kind of retesting the other one. So who knows what's going to happen in here. I don't really want to sell into this trend that we have seen. Even though in the lower time frame, yeah, it looks like a good compression. Maybe price can go something. Again, I think we have this range in here to be trading. Okay, we can maybe retest the lows, Friday lows. If you find a good short and if you want to hold it, first level, and then something in there. This level was respected just from the upper edge of the zone. Yep, upper edge of the zone, and yeah, maybe still something in there. Yeah, it will break the latest high. Yeah, most likely you can break you can create new all-time highs. You can follow on the indices as well, can kind of just break, just go with it. And it can be quite aggressive one more time. Yeah. Maybe a good better question that you could ask as well is how could you have managed to hold this trade in here for longer? Because I think you survived CPI or something like that. And I'm not really sure where your target was. But if you do look into the higher time frame of price holding out this level in here, creating this accumulation, breaking to the upside, this is a natural level to retest towards too. And yeah, catching this move. I don't know if you even target the highs or not, or just something a bit more underneath. Yeah. First turbo area, right? FTA. Somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah, it's just maybe a good question. It will be like, is this story kind of is the higher time frame is kind of in alignment with and am I in a good place to look for that home run type of a trade? Yeah. And oil, yeah, oil reacted perfectly. Again, we talked about this level as well. Crude didn't, but Brent reacted. But Brent actually fake out slightly this low and reacted from that demand zone, and it's turning as well. And yep, it's turning, and I think this could be the move. Again, you've been looking at this level for a while. Price in here kind of hold it, and now I think this is the next natural target in here with the potential to go higher, right? This becomes kind of a really interesting reversal pattern as well. We start to have that compression, we try to go higher, we kind of pretend to be creating kind of a double bottom in here. All of a sudden we have the fake out happening in here, and price can just maybe move to the upside from here. Okay, again, Brent still actually has this level in here that can react from, and then eventually maybe we can go there. It's already reacting from these left shoulders in here as well. I think maybe this level is still fresh, by any chance if this wants to retrace one more time, maybe can do something like that. Below this low, into this maybe structure in there, that can still be reasonable on oil. But we may start having this momentum in here. Yeah. But from where? From where are you looking for? If it starts breaking slightly above this high, maybe we can even retest a little bit in here. I'll be cautious a little bit with this level just to see if price could react from it. For example, if you break above this level and you come out and you start retracing even without touching this level in here, I think that can work as a really nice engulf upwards, and price may go all the way, maybe towards this level, faking out these lows, or even a bit deeper into kind of the next structure in here and go. So that would be a really nice one, because it opens the door, doesn't really close it straight away, and you have a potential move in here. From here, actually, price and eventually could just retest this level one more time and actually move higher from it. If price just goes straight away into here, and then we'll see. We'll see. But that was a bit more fun of this level in here. Now, especially after this low in here, I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan anymore of this level. At least in terms of looking for a big trade from here, I think we're just going to be ranging, or kind of going from one side to the other. Yeah, man, I see market is they're good. Like, I like the spreads, I like their execution. There's no slippage, there's nothing. With the news, it's always, again, we are not really trading the news. There's a little bit of the spreads get a bit wide, especially if you're looking at minor pairs. Yes, it's mostly for FX. The indices are okay. You don't pay commissions on indices, neither on commodities. Not all commodities, on gold you pay, not on oil. Yeah, you don't really trade crypto in here. The spreads are terrible. You don't really trade crypto in here. But yeah, for FX is really good. From the creator's pets. And yeah, they are legit. They're one of the biggest at this point, right? They grew a lot. So yeah, I see markets is, for anyone that likes to trade with raw spreads, it's really good. Yeah, so I do turn bullish as well. I think now we are reacting from a really good low. This was one of the demand zones that I wanted to see being respected. As long as price respects this level, can go higher from here. If price had broken that level, I think then we could go a bit more to the downside. Even though this time frame doesn't really look that pretty, but it was. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here. Again, now the situation in the Middle East, that's not really kind of, it hasn't been really a concern at this point. It kind of paused gladly. Yeah, maybe the incentive, as soon as you start noticing the rate cuts, just again, just the same way that the stock market is getting enthusiastic and bullish, maybe can push oil as well to the upside. So we'll see. We'll see. But reaction was really good from there, and yeah, that's kind of what we had in here. And that's basically it, to be honest. Yeah, just to recap, again, the indices, not really much to say, right? So it's all-time highs. It's going to be the same approach, a bit more conservative. If we do see some proper weakness, then maybe we can start looking for something. If you are bullish, just wait a little bit for a retracement and join the trend. That's basically what I'll be doing. Dollar. I'm curious to see if the dollar holds that low or not. And if it does, then start looking for longs on the dollar. The euro, I would like new highs, and then maybe we could join the shorts. So that's something to yeah, I would like to see a bit more to the upside in here. The end pairs, I'm going to be continue to follow it, continue to look for potential turns in here. On the end pairs, I think the dynamic is going to be slightly different this week. I think we're going to continue into this zone 3 type of a move. So that's something to bear in mind. News-wise, not really much. So it's going to be another week mostly based on PI. And not so much in terms of any big catalyst, aside from Thursday when you have those manufacturing services PMI, which are quite important as well at this point. Yeah, CAD with the news. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. That's it, guys. Basically, yeah, basically that's it. So thank you again. Thank you, Jack. Thank you very much. And yeah, so big things ahead for until the end of the month, and the summertime is going to be, yeah, it's going to be quite interesting as well. So fantastic. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.